Hey YouTube, it's Taki with TaqiTech. Okay, so we are on episode 19 here of the Complex Timesheet series. And basically, last time we printed the array that combined both the regular tasks and the scheduled tasks. Or print is probably the bad word, but stored those values all into one array. And in this video here, we're just going to make sure that we can still load our break times, and then I'm going to print both the break array and that final task array. And so let's jump into it. So first off here, going way back to this new main method or main module, or main subroutine that I made way back when we first started this project. Kind of glad that I have this select superstar worksheet, select sheet up here to make sure that we're working off the correct worksheet, because I will be printing some information to a separate worksheet. And normally when I do this, I make sure that I'm doing it on a test worksheet, because when you use VBA to print things onto a worksheet, you can't undo, and you can end up erasing a lot of important data, and there's nothing you can do about it. So it's better to do it on a test one, and then you can save it as the real project if everything goes according to plan. But I've run this a few times. It's pretty straightforward. I'm not expecting any unexpected results, and that's the reason why I'm just running it on my regular spreadsheet here. As you can see, I didn't really add anything to it. I uncommented this so that it will load the time periods. I'm not sure why I named them time periods. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Hindsight, I probably should have left it as break periods, but I'm not expecting to change that. Another problem, one of the few problems that I ran into when I wrote this, was that there was a globals module out there right here. And I'm not sure what I was thinking when even the global variables, and we discussed this earlier on this project. So I'm probably going to be getting rid of that. I just want to make sure that none of the code that I've written is currently using this. So, all right, back to our main module and in our main method. I'm just going to hit play here. We're going to skip through all of those. Okay, I must not have added a watch for, because I have the task periods, but I don't have my break periods here. That's interesting. Well, we'll see once we hit F8. Let's see here. Yeah, so they're there. The time periods are there. Not sure, and sometimes there's a lag. Yeah, that's what I just needed to scroll up, actually. I was looking at the task periods before. They were right there the whole time. So I have watches on both the array time periods from the breaks module, and watches on the task period array from the task module. Okay. And here we go here. I'm just going to go ahead. Basically, this is done in 3 steps here. We have, I don't know, probably about 20 lines of code here. First, we're going to get the amount that we need to do for the loop. So we're going to either take a look at the U-bound of the task period, which is the tasks, or the U-bound of the breaks. And most of the time, you're going to have more tasks than you're going to have breaks. But just in case you somehow have more breaks than you have tasks, it's dynamic. It will work either way. And then we're going to make sure we have the right sheet selected. We're going to blank out if there were any old rows. And then we're going to just run a for next loop. Basically, I set the counter to 0. And we have we're going to loop until we hit the U-bound, the upper bound of the biggest array. Right now that's 0, but it's going to be 8 once we drop into it. And I made sure it was 0, so we're at base 0 here. Basically, we have a couple if statements, and this right here is all one statement. I just put the space and underscore, and hit enter, and to kind of break it into two lines of code as opposed to one ugly line of code. Basically, all this is saying is if the counter is less than or equal to the upper bound of that particular array, then print the next line of code, or print that next value onto the next cell. And same thing here for, because this one is for the tasks and this one is for the breaks. And we're going to print 3 breaks. Yep. And we're going to print 9 tasks. So we're not going to have to print any more breaks after we hit the 3, but we're still going to have to keep on going with the tasks. And we'll see as we drop in here. So here we go with our first step. We're going to get the upper bound. So like I said, this is going to be 8. Take a look at that. There it is, 8. And then we're going to make sure we hit our right sheet. Let me bring the spreadsheet in here real quick. So here's the spreadsheet. And I'm just going to kind of try to do a couple things at once here. And you'll be able to see the spreadsheet moving in the background, and then I'll make it look a little bit, not too much better, but a little bit better in just a second. So there we go. You see that it switched off to select the correct spreadsheet. I'm going to move this over here so we can see both the tasks and the break. That's when I ran it last time. Now this is going to clear out. There we go. Now our for next loop. So there's our first task. There's our first break. There's our second task, second break. Third task, third break. We're done with the breaks, and now we're just going to be printing tasks. And there we go. And that's the last task. And then that's it. But before I end out of here, I just want to quick take a look, make sure we hit all the different levels of the array, or different rows of the array. We got them. I might end up changing this to a 2-dimensional array. I might change the break times. I'm not sure if I want to do that, or I just want to look at the cell next to it, the column next to it on the appropriate spreadsheet. And again, here with the task periods, make sure that they're all correct. So we have 168, 102, and the last one is 12. So that looks good too. Shorter video than before, as expected. Now that we kind of have it here, I'm going to be able to model it out just a little bit more clearer. We'll talk about the model next time. We might print a few times. Maybe we'll be able to print all of them. That would be great. Then we can start talking about kind of troubleshooting here, kind of looking at the spreadsheet again. Let me get the zoom up a little bit here. Well, that's a little bit too much. Okay, here we go, 100. So we could start talking about, okay, what if somebody has a meeting at 11 o'clock and it's supposed to be an hour long, but they take a break at 11:30. Okay, we're going to send an error message to them and say, hey, you either need to change the length of the meeting, you need to change the time. And we'll get into that once we get it up and running, and once I run a few models on it to make sure that our code is dynamic and can handle almost any situation. So that's it for this time. Until next time, take it easy.